Hello, everyone. Welcome back to me. So we have a couple students here with us. We're waiting for Mullins to join, but we have Shay Finch and Ruth Lechner on right now. So if you guys want to introduce yourselves, your major, hometown, I do have your majors listed out here, but yeah, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourselves to the group, that'd be awesome.
Okay, I'll go first. So my name's Shay Finch, and I'm a sophomore. I'll be a junior next year. My majors are art history and psychology, and I'm from Baltimore, Maryland.
And Ruth?
Hi, I'm having some internet problems, so if you can't hear me, just let me know.
You're good.
Okay. My name is Ruth Lechner. I am currently junior. I'm so excited. And I am a business major with a minor in political science, and I also play tennis.
Great, thank you guys. And then Mullins has just joined us. Just 1 second. Ruth, you might want to turn your video off. That might help your internet connection. Hey Mullins, are you with us? Awesome. Perfect timing. We just started. So if you could go ahead and introduce yourself, hometown, and what your major is.
Yeah, so my name is Mullins. I'm from Richmond, Virginia. I am a biology major with a chemistry minor. And something I do on campus is that I play lacrosse. So if you have any questions about athletics and lacrosse, I can help you with that too.
Awesome. So I have a few pre-prepared questions, but if you guys have any questions for our current students, as always, just drop them in the chat. We'll get those answered for you as well. So the first question is, and we can kind of go in order that you guys are on the screen. You don't have to answer all the questions. So what's your favorite thing about Sweetbriar?
My favorite thing about Sweetbriar would be just all the endless opportunities of things we have to do. I feel like there's always something to do on campus every week. Like we get these weekly emails where there's like a list of activities for like each day of the week. And so it's kind of hard to get bored on campus. And even if there isn't something to do that day, you can always just like go out for a walk or like hang out with people. So there's like always something to do, and that's something that I crave as a person, just doing things, and it's available to me as Sweetbriar, so I love that.
Anyone else want to answer?
I would say the support from the teachers and really everybody on campus. It's really amazing to see how compassionate the professors are about to teach these subjects that they are interested in, because it just makes it much easier at my end to want to learn and to have such a high standard in class and show up with like very motivated to talk to future projects and such. Also, other resources available, like Marsha and Jess and everybody. Also, the friends that you get to make, like everybody on campus is really friendly. And at first, people who I've talked to, and like family members who come to campus before, they're like, we were not expecting that. You know, everybody's so like excited to see you, say hello when you're walking by. It's just a very like family-oriented environment. And I really, really like it.
Yeah, I'd say my favorite thing about Sweetbriar are the small class sizes. So as a STEM major, it's really useful to be in small class sizes. I mean, in my chemistry classes, you don't always get everything first time around. So being in a small class size where teachers ask you what you want to learn and what you want to get out of the class is really unique, especially because biology is such a broad topic. You have people who are biology majors who want to go pre-med, people who are biology majors who want to go into molecular biology, people who are bio majors who just want to be teachers. There's just such a broad, everything you can do with biology. Teachers want to know what you want to learn and what you want to, what you're interested in after college. So that's why I think in the biology major in particular, I got the most out of my major because my teachers asked me what I wanted to learn.
Great. So if you could change one thing about Sweetbriar, what would it be?
This is always a hard question every time like I get this question. I don't know what I would personally change about Sweetbriar just because I like my experience very well. I haven't had an area where I've thought of something that I wanted to change yet. Because a lot of the things that we voice our concerns about, they're usually met. And so I really have a hard time answering this question. I don't know if anyone else could.
Yeah, if I could change anything about Sweetbriar, I wish that we had more diversity. So we already do have a very diverse school, as far as everything else is concerned. But I mean, more diversity is always good. We have avenues to express ourselves at Superour. So we have Black Student Alliance. We have GLOW, which is gay, lesbian, or whoever. So we have a lot of groups that are for diversity. So if I could change one thing, I would just say more diversity.
Anything you want to add, Ruth?
Not really. I mean,
Okay.
this is the first time I've been asked that question. It's taken me back like, whoa. I'm actually being asked this. I never really like think about it. But now that you ask, I would say I don't really have time to think about it. I'm so involved in clubs, sports, classes, and just so many different things. I just like, even if there is a problem or a situation, issue that has to be addressed, it doesn't really, like, maybe it impacts me at a certain moment, but it gets resolved throughout time, or it's handled, and I don't even, those are very small problems. So I mean, yeah, that's what I have to say.
Okay, great. So what is your favorite spot on campus? There's lots of nooks and crannies around here. We're on 3,000 acres. But if you can pick one spot, where's your like go-to favorite spot?
I have a few. One of my favorites is I love being in Upper Quad, and I like the Dell. I like to sit on the Dell with my dog a lot. I love going to the boathouse, and I like going to sit on the dam. That's like one of my favorite places to go sit and listen to music. And probably like the softball field. I like going there, and I'll like play with my dog there, and it's a good place to stargaze and stuff like that. So those are like my top three, I guess.
Yeah, if I had to choose one place on campus to be my favorite, I would say it's the bistro. So I eat in the bistro pretty much every day for lunch. It's in the FAC, which is the Fitness and Athletic Center. We call it the FAC. So it's really central for especially athletes. When I do have rehab with our athletic trainer, it's really easy to pop in there and grab a salad or a burger and then go do my rehab in her office. So yeah, it's also a really good place to do homework. So I do homework a lot there too.
I have actually fallen asleep in the bistro at times waiting for tennis practice. So it's a good area. I would say my favorite spot anywhere outside. I am, walking the loop. We call it the dairy loop because it's like a huge circle and you can go see the horses. It's like I like being outside because the sky changes colors so many times and it's so pretty. It's my favorite thing. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, Shay.
Shay, you mentioned having your dog on campus. Can you clarify what you mean by dog, because it's not
Yes.
your pet?
So I have an ESA, so she's like my emotional support animal on campus, I think, which is like an accommodation for like my special case. And yeah, it's like you have to go through a process if you do need that accommodation, and you have a lot of support through that. And I'm very lucky to be able to have my dog on campus with me as well as other students.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
So what was one thing that you wish you'd known during your own college search process?
I would say one thing, I visited a lot of schools and I had a lot of options when I was picking colleges, but I would say the biggest thing was the feeling you get when you first step on campus is a big tell of if that's home for you. So I visited a lot of schools that in general seemed practical, but when I stepped on campus, I was just like, yeah, this just feels like a school to me. Whereas as soon as I stepped on Sweetbriar's campus, it felt like home immediately.
Personally, I'm a first generation student, so something I wish I would know is just how to go about asking questions and advocating for myself. I learned that through Sweetbriar, and it's second nature to me now. But before, when I was looking for schools to go to, I didn't know how to advocate for what I wanted out of a school, and to just ask questions about certain processes and like the paperwork I had to turn in. And I wish I would have known that beforehand, but I'm glad that I learned it and I apply it now to my everyday life, just going out and making sure I understand every part of what I'm doing.
On my end, I would say I also looked at a lot of colleges. I mostly looked at opening colleges that I had no idea existed. Somehow I ended up at Sweetbriar, which I'm so thankful for. But through the process, I would say make a list of what things are very important to you and you're looking for in a college. Like, is it a certain degree? Is it like the friendliness, or is it how far it's going to be? Always keep those things in mind. I mean, adjustment is going to happen. You're gonna be at college and you're gonna adjust. It's gonna take a little bit, but it will happen. The other thing would be if you have questions about anything, you know, go to college and ask them, because I did that with being stuck in choosing between and communicating with the admissions or anyone at the university really helps.
Great. So what does a typical weekend look like for a Sweetbriar student, or for you individually?
Individually, my weekends usually vary. It depends on what's going on. Usually there's always some type of event that's hosted by CEO. I'm not sure if they talked about this earlier, but it's our campus events organization. And sometimes if they have a trip that I'm interested in, I'll go on that trip, or I'll take my weekends at times to just go out and explore campus. So if it's like warm out, I'll just go to the boathouse with my friends a lot. Or there's a lot of things to do off campus. I've recently found a $3 movie theater off campus, and it's actually had like really updated movies. So like a month after something comes out, they usually show it there. So I go there a lot, and it's really fun. The snacks aren't too expensive, and it's $3 to get in. So that's where I spend a lot of my time.
Yeah, that $3 movie theater is lit. I saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood there, like literally a month after it came out, and it also had like It Chapter 2, like pretty much as soon as it got out of theaters too. So that movie theater is really cool. Some other things to do on campus on the weekends, they normally have a lot of events for us. So there's always something to do. So some of these events, I've gone with CEO to a Sean Kingston concert before over one weekend. Our Doors program do a lot of events. So I've done backpacking events. I've done snow tubing events. We have open mic nights a lot. I've gone to an open mic night and just performed TikTok dances because I don't have any other talents otherwise. If there's nothing really to do that I'm interested in that is already an event on campus, a lot of times I just hang out with my friends and we watch movies a lot, or we have TV shows that we like to watch. So yeah, and we get a lot, my team especially, we get a lot, we get together a lot over the weekends, and we'll do like team dinners and hang out.
Yeah, like Shay and Mullins have said, my weekends vary. It's never the same. I'm either with my tennis team going out to a restaurant to eat with them, or I am going to the house with my friends to have a lunch together, or it's just so many different things, and I'm a very organized person, so that's one of the things you learn at Sweetbriar while you're giving all of these opportunities and events to attend, that you get to have like a very specific schedule adjusted to you how you want it. So you can say like in the morning I'm going to study, do laundry, watch a movie, and then go to this event, or whatever it is, going to see a movie.
Yeah, so Bree would like to know if you would recommend participating in a fall sport as an incoming first year. Does it help, is it overwhelming, or does it help you kind of get assimilated to being a student at Sweetbriar?
So I used to play field hockey, which is a fall sport, and I would definitely recommend like playing a fall sport when you're first year, just because it definitely helps you set a foundation. So when I played field hockey, all of my closest friends were field hockey, and it really helped me feel a part of the community immediately. I came in with a family. I mean, to be fair, I already knew everyone just because I visited so much, but once we got there, we bonded immediately, and I never felt like, oh, who do I sit with when I go eat dinner? I just had people I already knew who were my friends, and it made it easier. And then when they made friends, I was able to meet their friends and just branch out. And it was very helpful, and it's just, it was just a great experience. And I see a question. I didn't quit. I had injuries that stopped me from playing. I miss playing all the time. I go to all the games. I still support all the teams, and it's a good experience. It really helps you like make your way into the Sweetbriar community.
Yeah, and I can answer the next question. The how close is the Sweetbriar community? Is it mostly everyone does their own thing, or is new students kind of brought in, and does the community do a lot together? So Sweetbriar campus as a whole is very tradition oriented. So we have traditions that encompass the entire campus. So one of the first traditions that first years participate in is the daisy ceremony. So it's when you get your daisy. So that's named after the founder's daughter, Daisy Williams. So you get daisy, and it's pretty much like your introduction into being a Sweetbriar woman, and at the end of your senior year, earning your Sweetbriar rose. So that's a fun thing that all the first years do together, and that's kind of like a class bonding event that all the first years get to do together. And then as far as introducing first years into the Sweetbriar community, we have something called Big Sister, Little Sister. So all the junior class will pick a single person in the junior class will pick a person in the first year class to be their big, and that first year would be their little. And so it's kind of like your first friend on campus, someone to ask the questions that you really want to know. If you have any, if you need any help with anything, they're there for you. It's really like a big sister mentality, kind of like a mentor, and also just a friend on campus. And in doing that, you get introduced to your big's friends and their littles, and it kind of just starts the whole web of friends. Sweetbriar is a very close community. You know everyone's first and last name. It is that small, so it's really fun. Everyone's your friend. And everyone also wants to see you succeed. So even if you don't know someone very personally, it'll get to a point where you're going to have to help them at some point. So yeah.
And transfer students can also get a big and be a little, and vice versa. So if you're coming in as a transfer, you don't miss out on that tradition. Ruth, is there anything you wanted to add about either the sports question or the Sweetbriar community?
For the sports, I would say it might seem like you have a long time, and many people might tell you this, but as soon as you come into freshman year into college, you're going to think like, oh, I have like 4 years here. No. If you want to play a sport, I would highly encourage for you to play a sport, whether it's at Sweetbriar or whatever college you may choose to go, because years in college are going to fly fast. Just like today, I can think, oh yeah, it was like yesterday when I was a freshman. I was playing soccer as a freshman, and then I transitioned to playing tennis in the spring. Just if you are excited to play a sport, do it. It's never too early.
So if you can, describe your Sweetbriar experience so far in 5 words or less, which is going to be tough for you guys because I know you guys.
One word I could say right now would be growth.
Yeah, if I had to choose some words just off the top of my head, I'd say community, engagement, leadership, fun, definitely. I don't think anyone comes to Sweetbriar and leaves Sweetbriar not feeling fully fulfilled in their college experience. You get anything out of Sweetbriar that you want, literally anything. If you ask for anything at Sweetbriar, it'll happen. So it's a lot of freedom. And I would say safety is also a big thing at Sweetbriar. I've never felt unsafe.
With that being said, Mullins, you are absolutely right. Anything we want at Super, we will get. However, it's also up to you and to us as students to go out and look for the opportunity. You know, not be afraid of it. And if they say no, it's a no. Go for your alternative. You know. So 5 words to I can't put 5 words into summarizing Sweetbriar. It's almost impossible. Yeah.
So
I definitely agree with the
go ahead,
leadership.
Shay.
Sorry, I definitely agree with leadership. That is a big thing. I feel like I've grown as a woman going to Sweetbriar, just learning to be a leader. I hate public speaking, but now, well, I did. Now I love.
Oh, your sound went out, Shay.
That I've met and grown close to. It's just, I know that I will be connected to these people even when I graduate.
Could you repeat that, Shay? Your sound went out for
Oh, sorry.
a chunk of that.
I was saying that like another word would be like sisterhood, because of all the connections that I've made. I know that I will always like have a bond with these people even after I graduate.
Awesome. So you guys have talked about a couple of the traditions that we have on campus. Can you guys talk about your favorite one and maybe explain them a little bit more?
My favorite tradition is step singing, which is where we all write songs together as a class, and then we'll sing like songs to our rival class, and it's usually like a diss song, and then everyone sings like loving songs to the seniors, and they sing their songs. And it's always been my favorite tradition because it's so fun just singing random songs to each other and like hearing the lyrics that classes come up with. It's always so interesting. And sometimes people will have like little bits of like choreography, and it's just a great time. And I love writing the songs with my class. It's always interesting to see how people come together and make up these songs and just have a good time. Like, it just feels like a family bonding time.
Yeah, my favorite tradition is also step singing. So a little bit more about how step singing works is, so as first years, you'll sing a happy song about yourself, like kind of like a gloating song about yourself. You'll sing a sassy song to the sophomores because that's your rival class. You'll sing a loving song to the juniors because those are your bigs. And everyone's nice to the seniors, so everyone always sings a happy song to the seniors. And then it goes on from there. So you'll sing a good song about yourself, a sassy song to your rival, a loving song to your sister class. So it's always really fun, especially because you get to move to different locations on Upper Quad, and every class gets their own special part of Upper Quad. So you can really see your growth as you go through Sweetbriar. It was my senior year, so it's kind of bittersweet. I went to step singing all 4 years, and it's an all-inclusive tradition, so everyone on campus gets to participate in it. It's always really fun to see how it's especially fun when the first years do it their first year, because they never know how deep they can go in, how hard they can go in, and then they see the sophomores and the juniors go in, so it's really fun.
So June would like you to talk a little bit more about the food, both on campus and like favorite places to go in Lynchburg for food, like that.
On campus, the food is really good. We have our providers are Meriwether Godsey, and I love how much attention they pay to the food. I feel like they're always trying something new. I don't know, they like to spice it up on us. Like, there's always different things to try, and there's so many options. Like, we now have a rice bar, like, and that's something we asked for, and they were able to get that to us after spring break, and I love rice, so I was really excited. We have just so many different options, and sometimes I know if students will ask, like, hey, I have this holiday coming up that's within my culture. Hey, can you help me celebrate this? Sometimes they will cook a full meal for the holiday, and they'll have like information cards out, and I think that's really cool that they're able to do that. And then off campus, there's two places I go. One is the sushi place, and it's called Yamada. I go there all the time that they know me by my name, and whenever I bring friends, they start to give them discounts because that's how often I go. And then there's a hibachi in Lynchburg that's really good, and it's not too expensive, so I eat there a lot as well.
Yeah, it's not hard not to get tired of our food because it is different every day. They put out menus for like by the week, so you can always keep up to date with what's going to be served for all 3 meals that day. So for our dining hall, you get 3 meals every day, and on weekends you get brunch and dinner. So the bistro is also open every day during lunch except on weekends. So it's not hard to not get tired of the food because it's always different. And if you do have like staples that you like, they always have the grill open. So if you always like burgers, you can always get burgers, veggie patties, chicken breasts, fries. So those things are offered every day, but then our main meal items are always different. And they do listen to what our suggestions are. So if there is something that you really like that they made, you can leave cards in they have like a little station where you can put suggestions. So if you really like something, you could tell them that you really liked it, and they'll probably do it again. And as far as off campus goes, there is a McDonald's that is a stone's throw away from Sweetbriar that I frequent when I'm just not feeling it, feeling like eating Protho that day, which does happen sometimes. I mean, it's college dining, so sometimes it is good just to get McDonald's. So I get McDonald's sometimes. We also have a Sheetz that's in Madison Heights, which is like the closest town to us, which I also go to a lot, and that's open 24/7. So when you're doing late night studying and it's like 10 p.m. and you're like, I've been studying for a couple hours, I would just like a snack. Sometimes me and my friends, we go to Sheetz.
Yeah, that and well, we also have like you could say our personal chef, David. He makes like really good omelets. Everybody who works in the dining area is super nice, and in the morning, afternoon, lunch, they're always gonna be wanting to talk to you. Like, how's your day going? How's that project going? How was your study abroad? It's super involved, and yeah, there's a variety of different things you can eat if you're a vegetarian or a vegan. We have options for that as well. And for off campus, I mean, just like anywhere else, you're gonna find restaurants, Olive Garden, pizza. Oh, Domino's. Domino's, having the app in your phone, that's gonna be like, I don't know, your number one number on your phone there. That's probably gonna be the first one if you like log into your phone and you look at who you've called the most. It's gonna be Domino's, and I would say most of the college students anywhere it may be, that's the one thing they usually order during the weekends or sometimes all throughout the week. It's pizza.
Domino's is on campus every day. There's not a day where I don't see the little Domino's car on campus.
So we have a couple questions. I've got one about can parents eat in the on-campus restaurants? Yes. As a staff member, I eat lunch in the dining hall most days, and the food is so good that a lot of local Amherst residents, the Amherst Sheriff's Office likes to come to lunch in Prothrow several days a week. But yes, so you can definitely enjoy food with your daughter if you want to come visit, or anytime you do come visit. Can you guys talk about how the meal plan works? Like if you miss a meal, does the meal roll over, or is it, and like the difference between the meals and the dollars for daisies?
Yeah, so you get a certain amount of swipes per week. So if you were to miss breakfast one day, it would roll over to the next following days for the week, and then they restart every week. So there's never, you can't run out of swipes. So, I mean, you get as many swipes as all meals that whole entire week, unless you live in the apartments, which you have a reduced meal plan. And even then, I've never heard of anyone running out of swipes. It's not like, I mean, I have friends at VCU who are like asking their friends if they can swipe them in because they've run out of swipes for that entire semester or that entire month by then, but that never happens at Sweetbriar. And as far as our Daisy dollars go, so Daisy's is a cafe we have on campus, which has like a bunch of individual snacks. It also has made to order coffee, and we have made to order, we have smoothies too. We have vegan smoothies also now in Daisy's cafe, and pretty much anything you can think of as far as like Starbucks and everything goes, you can get at Daisy's cafe. And so we get $200 every semester, and it's hard to go through. You'll find people who at the end of the semester still have $100. You'll find people who go through their Daisy dollars within like the first month. That's me. I always go through my Daisy money super fast, because they also have really good made to order food too. You can get quesadillas, you can get chili, chicken tenders, things like that at the Daisy's cafe. So yeah, so that's pretty much just free money that they give us, $200. It doesn't roll over to the next semester. So you'll find people at the end of the semester just being like, hey, do you want anything from Daisy's? I still have so much money left. Like, I can get you anything you want. So.
There's another question about having refrigerators in the rooms. We have a company that we work with that you can get a micro fridge. So it's a combination microwave and mini fridge, and you can rent those. You can bring in your own refrigerator, but there are certain wattage restrictions on it. So if you want the combination microwave mini fridge, you have to rent it through this specific company. If you just want the microwave or the refrigerator in your room, you just have to follow the wattage restrictions, and the Student Life website has that information available to you guys. We are in older buildings. We don't want to blow a circuit or anything like that and lose power to half of campus. So we do have those wattage restrictions. And then each residence hall does have a full kitchen somewhere in it. So if you need a stove to make, mac and cheese or something like that, you have access to that. Erica would like to know, what traditions did you not like the first time you experienced it, but now really enjoy?
Yeah, I can answer this one. It wasn't that it was a bad tradition, but one of the traditions we have is we have a Founders Day walk. So we walk from Babcock, which is the auditorium and the fine arts, performing arts building at Sweetbriar. And we walk from there all the way up to Monument Hill, which is where our founders' graves are. And so we honor our founders that day, and we lay daisies on the graves of our founders. So the reason why I didn't like it was just because it's as soon as we get onto campus and it's hot. Virginia gets pretty hot in the summer, and it was just seemed like such a long walk at first. And so all the underclassmen wear white, and the seniors wear our robes for our graduation robes, not our special robes. We wear our graduation robes, and we walk up to the founders' graves. And I only didn't like it just because I was like, oh my gosh, it is so hot outside. But now, a cool thing about it is that when you're first year, you walk with your big, and when you're a big, you walk with your little. So as far as when I got to my junior year and I got to walk with my little, and she was like, "It's hot," and I'm like, "You'll appreciate it later."
I think I definitely agree with that tradition. I always loved it, but it's just actually doing it. Like, I have all this hair on my head, so it's just hot, and I always wear the wrong type of shoes. Like, I think my first Founders Day, I wore flats, which is a mistake because all the pebbles and everything.
Oh, you gotta wear
And
tennis shoes.
yeah, I made that mistake. It was not fun. I love the tradition. And then by the time I got to the hill, my first one, all the water was gone. And I was like, oh my gosh. But I really love the tradition now. And I learned to leave as soon as possible so you can get the water when you get up there.
Yeah, so I would say we have a variety of different traditions, and I mean, I haven't really had a big problem with any of them, and I agree with Shay and Mullins that that kind of took me a little bit by surprise freshman year when I wore like heels. Not smart. When they tell you don't wear heels while you walk almost half of 2 miles up there, no. Yeah.
All right. Any other questions you guys have? I've got one more, but I was kind of waiting until the very, very end to ask that one. Can you guys talk about some of the healthy vegan/vegetarian options available to students? I know you mentioned the vegan smoothies, but what other ones are available?
Yeah, my roommate, when I was roommates with one of my friends who's vegan for 2 years, and when we got there our freshman year, she had like a whole kitchen set that she brought that was like huge, and she was like, "I'm gonna have to cook all my own food because I'm vegan and I'm not gonna be able to be accommodated as much in the dining halls." And then she ended up not even opening it once because every single day there are vegan options. So as far as they go, there's always an equal vegan option and vegetarian option to the main food item of that day. So it's there. You're never going to have a day where there's absolutely nothing for you to eat. There's always fresh fruit. There's always a salad bar too. We have made to order salads during lunch, and then there's always like a specialty salad during dinner. So I would say it's really easy to eat healthy. We don't really experience the freshman 15 as much in Sweetbriar, I'd say, as other colleges do, because there are a lot of healthy options if you do want to eat those healthy options. If you do want to eat those healthy options,
There is also ice cream every day, though.
Yeah, there's also ice cream every
Balance.
day.
I know I was pescatarian for a little bit. I broke it because all the meat at school looked good. But I was pescatarian, and when I was pescatarian, I always had something to eat. My favorite vegan dish would probably be either the vegan chili or their gumbo. It's so good. And there's always something and something new to try. Like, even now, as I'm starting to eat meat a little bit more, I still find myself trying to eat the vegan options. And I'm always trying something new. Recently I had like the vegan egg scrambled, and it's really good. And they always try something new, and so I try it, and they're actually really good. And I never really hear my friends who are vegan complain about not being able to eat, and they always love it. Like, they're always really happy with what's on their plate. So
Yeah, I sometimes eat the vegan chicken nuggets just because they're good.
they are good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a vegan, and I find myself many of the times over to the vegan area, and I'm just like, well, how did I get over here? It's really good. Yeah, but everybody is welcome to eat anything they want.
So do people like to go to other colleges on the weekends, and do people from other colleges come to campus?
People do go to other colleges on the weekends. A lot of people tend to have like friends at other schools. A lot of people will go to our brother's school, which is Hampton Sydney College. They go there a lot, and they sometimes come to us. Like, sometimes we'll even do joint things together. I know it was my first year. Marsha tried to organize a dance where for first years where we'd have like a mingle type thing, and the freshmen from Hampton Sydney and then first years at our school, they had like a little dance thing. I think it got canceled because of weather, but they're always trying to have more things where we kind of bond with other schools. I know recently this year for SGA, which isn't as like much as a social thing, but we did a networking event where we had other schools come to us and we just got to know them and learn more about their schools. And we're slowly starting to have more events where other colleges come to us, and that way you make friends, so on the weekends you're able to go hang out with other people on different campuses.
Yeah, I mean, we're not, oh, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, yeah, you find a lot of people frequent Hampton Sydney, which is an all-men's school in Farmville, Virginia, on the weekends. And then obviously when we have dances or things that require or don't require dates, but like things you can take dates to, a lot of people will bring people from other schools. Also, as far as people coming to us on the weekends, I know my friends are always asking when we're going to have another party. We call our parties boat houses, but when I always have my friends from back home asking when we're going to have parties, because I mean, there's nothing more empowering than a party with all women where everyone just gets crunk and has a good time. So a lot of times you do not have to bring a guy as a date. I always bring my girlfriend as my dates to all of our dances. So. I just saw that was a question. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you want to add anything, Ruth?
I mean, not really. You know, we are involved with other students. We're not completely locked away. Some people may think, you know, just because we're in all women's college, we don't get interaction with the opposite sex or other students from other colleges. That is not true, because we have events such as the engineering banquet, where the Virginia Military Institute College is invited. Some of the engineers are able to go, and as students from Sweetbriar, we are also invited to attend. And I mean, with them as well, we have ballroom dancing, so we drive to them or they drive to us. So we have a lot of open communication with other colleges.
And Bree would like to know what's been your favorite dish that you've had at Sweetbriar. We're going back to food, but food is popular, so.
One time, not one time, they've had this multiple times, but my favorite thing is Old Bay chicken wings. So fried chicken wings covered in Old Bay. That was pretty good.
I love their chili, or when they have tacos and stuff, so that's always great. And then also I love their soups. Their soups are so good. Those are like my favorite.
Yeah, I am, okay, one thing, I love meat. And second, the thing I love most than meat probably are the cooked French toast that David makes in the morning and ice cream together. So yeah.
Yeah, I also really like when we have salmon. We have really good salmon.
Yeah.
And I would say something else that I really like that we have, like Ruth was saying before, is made to order omelets. So we have like an omelet bar every morning for breakfast. Even for brunch, we'll have an omelet bar. So it's really good, especially to get good protein in the first part of your day.
All right, my last question for you guys is, why did you choose Sweetbriar?
I chose Sweetbriar just because when I stepped foot on campus, it felt like home. I visited in the summer, so it wasn't a lot of students on campus, but just the faculty made me feel at home being there. I was welcomed with homemade cookies. On my first visit, I was the first one in the room, and I was offered a plate of homemade cookies, and everyone immediately came over to talk to me and was smiling, and I just felt like I was at home. And even, I haven't even met a student yet, but I felt so welcome, and I knew that any concern I had or any fears that I had would
be listened to and that I would be taken.
Oh, your sound's gone out again, Shay.
Okay.
You can go ahead and answer.
Okay. So the reason why I chose Sweetbriar was because of the small class sizes. I knew going into Sweetbriar that I was going to be a STEM major, be a biology major. So something that was important to me was small class sizes. I came from a pretty small high school. The high school itself wasn't small, but I was in the International Baccalaureate program. So it was a pretty small program. So having a class size where your teachers know you by name, they know you just by the look of your face if you're not understanding something, is really important, especially in STEM classes where you are going through really difficult topics that you might not understand first time around. And our teachers always make themselves very available, to us outside of class too. So that was really the reason why I chose, was mostly because of small class sizes. Also, it felt like home. Like, I visited a lot of schools and I did not get that feeling of home until I stepped foot on Sweetbriar's campus. And I told my dad that day, I was like, I'm going here. And he was like, well, it's cheaper for you to go to VCU because you'd be able to live at home. Would it be possible for you to get Sweetbriar to be the same amount as going to VCU? And so I called the financial aid office and I asked them if they had any other scholarships, because I told them what VCU was offering me, and I asked them if they could match it because I really want to go there, and they were able to match it, and my dad was very happy about that.
Okay, well, my story is a little bit different. Some may or may not know this, but my situation was, I was looking at colleges in junior year of high school, and I was starting to think about where to go, and I had a conversation with my father, and he said, "Mom, how about this? I will pay for your college a certain amount if you go to an all-women's college." And I was like, oh my gosh. So, otherwise I would have to probably pay for it myself, and it's a lot. Yeah, and so I ended up touring 7 colleges in 1 week. The furthest one I looked into was, which one was it? High College in St. Louis, which is about 16 hour drive from Maryland. And I was like, I'm not gonna be able to go there, and I just didn't have the same feeling as Sweetbriar either. So it came down to 2, and it was Meredith and Sweetbriar. And on the drive back, I was talking to my dad, and I was like, I had no idea women colleges existed, and I just it never really crossed my mind that it would be an option. And I wasn't really completely against it, so I was like, well, so I ended up calling Sweetbriar and talking to them about scholarships and such, and they were able to give me all the information, and they were so quick to also answer, and that's how I made my decision. And the campus is absolutely beautiful. It's breathtaking, all the sunsets. I'm always gonna say I love the sunsets.
Yeah. I can go ahead and answer this question from June. She asked how easy / hard it was to find jobs after graduation. So this is going to sound very unique, but this is not a unique experience as far as Sweetbriar is concerned. But I just accepted a job offer after graduation to be a vaccine scientist at a pharmaceutical research company working under an alum. So every year on the lacrosse team, we have this alumni game where alums from as far back as you could even possibly think come back to school, and we play lacrosse against them, and they play against the current team. And so it's also it's a lot of fun, but it's also a good networking opportunity because they ask us what our majors are and what we're interested in after college, and they tell us what they majored in and what they're doing now. And so in doing that, I met thanks, Ruth. In doing that, I met Jen Wiley-Smith, who was an alum, and she worked at the pharmaceutical research company, and she went talk with me after this game. And I talked to her, and through doing that, I did an internship with them last summer, working under her directly at this vaccines building and this pharmaceutical research company. And she went at the end of the summer. The entire internship, everyone was just saying, so when you're joining us next year, when you're joining us after graduation, and I was like, oh, do I gotta like that? And you really do. With Superour alums, really, they want to help you, and they want to do everything they can. And I know that even though I just got the job offer there, I was already recommending current Sweetbriar students who are biology majors to Jen for the internship this upcoming summer. So the alumni connections are really strong, and that's why it's really easier to find jobs after graduation. Also, our a degree from Sweetbriar is worth a lot in job standards. So especially engineering majors. I know engineering majors who are going into working at Boeing to being aerospace engineers straight out of undergrad with only an undergrad degree. I know engineering majors who are going straight into astrophysics, straight into the Navy, straight into the Marines, anything you could think of. They really prepare you for being a well-rounded student and being a leader, being able to go out to a job interview and being like, I deserve this job and I'm qualified for this job. So people don't always look at, people think that we're just a small school, and because we're such a small school that like you wouldn't have enough connections, but this school has been open since 1901. There are alums in any possible field you could possibly think of. They love when you reach out to them. I know alums who have never met someone, but they'll let them live in their house over the summer if they're interning somewhere that is not where they live. So yeah, and as far as IB credits go, all of my IB credits transferred at Sweetbriar. For SL, I think you just need to get a 4 or above on all IB exams for the credit to transfer.
And the same thing for AP credits. The full breakdown is in our course catalog online, so you can see what you need on the IB tests and the AP tests for credit to transfer. If you're doing any dual enrollment classes, you would need a C or better to transfer, but some of those are a little bit less uniform than the AP and IB classes. So definitely reach out to the registrar if you have any questions about that. She's super awesome and happy to answer and help you out with all of those things.
Yeah. And
follow-up question. Did you see that?
Yeah, I'm reading it now. Yeah, so I plan on staying at this job for at least 5 years because they're also helping me get my master's in chemistry. So it's a program that they offer at PPD, the pharmaceutical research company I'm working at, where they'll pay for you to go to VCU and get a master's in chemistry. And so once I get my master's in chemistry, I'd like to move up to either being a main quality analyst or working as like a main person in a lab. Right now I'm a scientist, but it's like an assistant scientist, so it's like the lower entry level scientist. Whereas I could move up being a senior scientist once I have a master's degree.
Awesome. Well, you guys have any last minute things you'd like to say before we wrap up the student panel?
I saw a question that I wanted to address from Bree about being a woman of color and like dealing with my hair and stuff on campus. There has never been a moment for me where anyone has tried to really touch my hair. Sometimes people ask, but I mean, it's very easy to set those boundaries. I put a lot of work into my hair, so like I love that I don't have people just coming at me and touching it. And one thing that we're very grateful or like lucky to be able to do and actually have people respond well to is with our BSA, we try to have a lot of events where we educate people, and if you ever have any ideas for events like that, you can easily set up one. One thing we have is Kinks and Curls Night, which is my favorite time of the year. We're working on having it twice a year. What we do is anyone's welcome to come. If you have curly hair or not, anyone's welcome. And everyone, like usually the first 30 people get a gift bag. It'll have like hair oil, which is really good oil. It'll have like bonnets and stuff like that. And sometimes we'll watch a movie about like women of color's hair, and then we'll talk about it. Or what we did this year, we just sat down and for like an hour and a half, we just talked, and you get to share like stories, and you get to set your boundaries with people in your communities. It's just a really good time to sit there and educate the people around you about how you feel, and let them know a little bit about you, and have them respond really well. Like, it goes very great, and even people who are not a part of like our community will come, and they're very respectful about it, and they actually leave learning a lot. And we try to throw that every year because it's a great event to have, and I like that we have those types of events.
Yeah, we're a very open community. As far as like being women of color goes, I've never had any problems. Everyone's very open, and people also just want to learn. So as far as educating goes, everyone wants to learn new things. Everyone's willing to understand that they don't know everything, which I think is a big thing at Sweetbriar, is knowing that you might not know something, and that we take it into our own account to personally educate people. And I think because of it, when you leave Sweetbriar, you become a very open person too. I know people who they come from, places where they don't get a lot of experience knowing women of color, or people who are in the LGBTQ plus community, and it becomes their best friends, or they learn so much. I don't know how many people who I know. One of my best friends, she's from Texas, and I was the first gay person she ever met. And now we're best friends, and she has just become such an ally through just knowing me, and through knowing other people. So it's really easy to find your place here, and to be loved and accepted.
Great. I think that's a great note to end on, Mullins. I appreciate you guys taking time out of your Saturday to join us.